Chelsea. They've been struggling to get signings. It looks like Todd Bowley is, anytime he reads the papers and he finds that somebody's on the transfer market or is for sale, then he jumps in there. But it looks like he's going to finally get his first signing of the window. And we know that Manchester City and Chelsea have agreed a deal for Raheem Sterling. And Chelsea are still in the running for Nathan Ake. Let's start with Sterling. What will he bring to this Chelsea team in terms of his ability? What is he the sort of player that Chelsea needs, Antonio?
I think so because look at Sterling, look at the careers he has had so far. Since he broke through, well, his QPR days were not really much to write home about. But he first came into our memories and into the limelight at Liverpool in that fantastic team headed by Luis Suarez that were almost crowned Premier League champions with, if not for an unlucky fellow who
almost doesn't count.
Was for one man who jinxed the whole club. He would have won with Sterling, but since then he went to Man City. Initially, it wasn't going all too well, and then Guardiola came in the picture. And when Guardiola came in the picture, I remember when he came, there were news reports that Guardiola called Sterling personally, assuring him that he was coming to play a style of football that was going to benefit him, so he should get himself prepared for the new season and all that. And since then, we have just seen the meteoric rise, I would say, of Sterling. We have seen him performing at consistent levels. Look at his goals every season. Look at his assists every season. Look at his general performance to Man City's rise. You can't tell the tale of Man City from 2016 or 2017 to now without mentioning Raheem Sterling. He's a player who now he joined the 100-goal Premier League club. Yeah. He scores assists, he scores benders. I mean, he scores hat tricks, he scores benders. He's a very creative player. So I don't think it's a bad signing. I think it's a good signing, really good signing for Chelsea. Looking at his influence when it comes to the English national team also. Look at the way he comes to the fore when they need him the most. Look at the last Euros. I think Sterling was probably their best player. So
Citi, I want to pause you there, but look, I always say this thing. You see, Chelsea, the top six, they see themselves as rivals. They see themselves as battling for the same trophies. If Manchester City have reached the stage where they deem Sterling surplus to requirements, they've got better players. Last season, he hardly had playing time. It looks like he's on the decline. Should Chelsea be swooping in for him?
Why not? Because if let's compare the levels of Man City and Chelsea right now. Man City are operating as right now on a different level from Chelsea. Man City can be compared to maybe a league of maybe 2 or 3 teams in the whole of Europe right now. So Man City releasing a player doesn't necessarily mean the player isn't a good player, is not up to scratch. Because look at some of the other players that they are in the news as being ready to listen to offers for. Not so long ago, they were listening to offers for Bernardo Silva, and there are still rumors that Bernardo Silva might find himself at Barcelona. And you can't question the obvious talent and the obvious quality of a player like Bernardo Silva. Yeah. They're also letting someone like Nathan Ake go. Ake, maybe he's not one of their first team players, but he's been an important squad player, and not only for Man City, but also for Netherlands. He also forms a core part of that Netherlands team, which has performed so well since Louis van Gaal took over, and who are going to this World Cup as one of the favorites to eventually clinch it. So Man City letting the player go, I don't think it spells doom on any club willing to buy the player. I think it's just good due to the options they have and the quality that exists in the team right now. So letting a player like Sterling go, we also saw not too long ago, Man City let Leroy Sané go. Yeah. And at that point in time, Sané was one of the best young wingers in Europe. I think his career has gone a bit sideways since he went to Bayern. But at Man City, he was on the up, and he left. And since left, Man City have even gone higher. They replaced them with, they put Foden there sometimes. They bring Bernardo there sometimes. They have a way of playing that even when these big names go, they are still tip top. They are still winning things. So I don't think it's an indictment on Sterling as a person or on his qualities as a player. Yeah. I just think, and you have to bear in mind that Man City, they make a lot of signings. You have to balance it out some way, somehow. Yeah. You can't make all these signings without letting something go. Player go, player come. That's what happens all the time. So Sterling going is not necessarily a bad thing for Chelsea or for Sterling himself. Yeah. I just think that's the way it goes right now.
All right, great submission there. And we'll take a quick break. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. There's more. We have some more transfer news, and then we'll talk about tennis. Novak Djokovic's record 21st Grand Slam title. It was earlier today, a fantastic victory against Nick Kyrgios. We'll have all that just after this break. Welcome back. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. My name is Daniel Cranting. I'm doing this with Sydney Antonio and Emmanuel Nubo. You can also join the conversation on the WhatsApp line +233 585 5832 or hashtag Scorecard on Twitter. And I'll do well to read all the messages. Just gone by, we've been talking about the women's AFCON and some transfer news. Emmanuel, let's go back to the Chelsea matter. Nathan Ake, defender. Chelsea clearly need a defender. They've lost Christensen, they've lost Rudiger, they've lost quite a number of personnel in that department, and they need some reinforcement. But the question is Nathan Ake the guy?
Well, it looks like they are limited for options, because if with the kind of football they are playing, I'm actually surprised that there aren't a lot of rumors surrounding Chelsea buying centre backs, and there are more rumors surrounding them buying forwards and wingers, because you've lost Rudiger, who was a very, very important player for them. As to how they allowed him to go, I do not know. And then you've also lost Christensen. In as much as he didn't play much, you had that. And it looks like they've settled for Nathan Ake. Well, on one side, settling. Yeah, it looks like they're settling. But on one side, he was from the academy. Mm-hmm. He went to Bournemouth, performed well, went to Manchester City, made a name for himself. He's an integral part of that team too. So you'd want to bring in someone who is familiar with the league and has the quality. I think as Manchester City, in the few games which he played, he showed the quality that he has. In as much as he's not as tall as most defenders, technically he's quite good with his feet. And I think for the system with Tuchel plays, with the 3-back, he fits right into it. He can play as a left-sided centre-back, and that makes it easy. Also, he has good distribution, and which Rudiger gave them when he was there. He could hit some long balls. He could drive the ball forward. He's a good ball carrier. I think in certain instances he has played as a defensive midfielder. So he has a variety of quality and positions he can play, which adds quality to the team. But on the other side, even comparing to how Manchester City are willing to sell some of their players to their quote-unquote rivals, it shows you the gap and how far Chelsea have fallen below. Because if you look at where Chelsea were coming from, you are European champions. Yeah. The next season, we were expecting you to challenge for the league at least, and they couldn't do that. It just shows you that Manchester City they are on cloud nine. They are actually afraid of nobody. They can let quality go, and then it doesn't bother them. But for Chelsea, it will be a good addition to their team. It's still not so clear to see how the complete structure of the team would be like, because it looks like some players are Aspilicueta. There are rumors that he will also be out. So they need more replacements in the defensive third. Yeah. Nathan Ake doesn't solve that alone. I mean, we saw Chalobah too. He's still young. He's still developing. He's still error prone. But I think on a whole, he adds a lot of quality to their team, which they didn't previously have. Mm-hmm. He barely gets injured too, so that's something you can rely on. And then he has the quality. He can drive the ball forward. He can hit the diagonals. And naturally, because he's a left-footed player, he just slots right into the left centre-back position. So I think for Chelsea, it's a good buy. For Manchester City, it's not much of a loss. They are worlds apart when it comes to positions between them and Chelsea.
I like that perspective, but let's go deeper into Chelsea's defensive problems. Okay, for a team that plays a 3-back system, right now, let's say Ake hasn't signed yet, so we can't add him to the team. So they have Chalobah, they have Thiago Silva, and then who? Nobody else. So how many defenders do Chelsea need to sign?
They need to sign.
Let's say they get Ake. Who again? Because the Ligt has told his agent to stop picking Chelsea's call. He's only interested in going to Bayern Munich, so that is done. He's not coming to Chelsea. When you look on the market, who is available? Who can Chelsea actually go for and for them the person to slot into their system and improve the quality? Because you spoke about Rudiger. As it stands, for me, top 3 defenders, best centre-backs in the world as it stands, based on last season's performances. He's that good. And if you lose somebody like him, you need equal level of quality or something very close to his quality.
Well, for me personally, I would think they should look at someone like Skriniar of Inter Milan. He's quite a good defender. He already plays in the 3-back system. Mm-hmm. He can drive forward. He can bring he can add something to the attack. He's good aerially also, and he has a presence. He's good when it comes to tackling. I'm surprised they are not looking at
It's really
players
PSG,
like
yeah.
you understand. Skriniar is a very, very good player, and it looks like right now what the fear is that Chelsea are in a position where everybody knows they are desperate for defenders. There were rumors of Koundé. We don't know how far that's going to be like, and it looks like they'll need to break the bank to sign 2 top centre backs if they really want to. If they really want to be competitive in any sense, because you can't rely on Chalobah. Neither can you rely on Thiago Silva. He's 37, 38 now. He can't play every game. So they'll need to break the bank. I think some of the monies they are trying to throw at Rafinha and those things, they should actually throw it at the centre back, because you can't rely on Malang Sarr. We saw his performances. We saw his performances this season. I mean, Chelsea fans were more angry when they see him in the lineup alone. So they really, I think Koundé, Skriniar are players which they should actually be targeting and trying to break the bank to get. That would actually bring some solidity to their defense.
Yeah.
And they also need to start to find a replacement for Thiago Silva. He's not going to play forever.
He's what, 38 now?
38, 30. He's not an Iron Man too. So
He's not. Definitely not.